Weapon inspects have been a pretty big part of first-person shooters ever since Counter-Strike made them popular in CSGO, which came out over 10 years ago, by the way, if you want to feel old. Call of Duty started incorporating inspect animations in 2016 with Modern Warfare Remastered, and they've since, well, they've become a staple of the series. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos. Today, we're going to be checking out 10 of my favorite weapon inspects from the entire franchise. I think you're going to be surprised at some of my picks here. And yes, we did a list of 10 of the best inspect animations a couple months ago. And yes, this is part 2. So if you like these 10, go ahead and watch our previous video on that topic. There won't be any repeats here. And you let me know in the comments, what is your favorite weapon inspect in COD history? Drop a like. And at number 10, the Type 5 Show of Force in Call of Duty World War II. COD World War II was one of the first COD games ever. Actually, I think it was the first COD game to really go all in with the weapon inspect animations. Every gun had its own unique inspect animation, and a lot of the weapon variants also had unique inspects as well. The Type 5 rifle wasn't exactly popular in multiplayer. It was basically just a worse version of the M1 Garand, but the Show of Force variant did have a pretty sweet inspect animation. It was where your character would swing it around like a samurai sword for a couple seconds before getting ready to fire again. The Show of Force variant was also quite a bit smaller than the default Type 5 rifle, so it was pretty cool to see it being swung around like this. You may not have actually liked using the gun, but at least it had a cool animation for you to look at when you weren't getting destroyed by all the PPSH spammers in the game. Before we move on, guys, do me a favor. Right-click that link at the top of the description and go subscribe to the Chaos Let's Play channel. We just finished Warhammer Space Marine 2. We are now on Resident Evil 7, and we are still rocking our entire GTA 5 playthrough. You guys can comment on those. Tell me what you want me to play in the future. We're going to be playing new games as they come out as well. I would love to see you guys over there. We're at 700 subs on our way to 1,000. At number 9, the Pellington 703 in Black Ops Cold War. Now, the sniping in Black Ops Cold War got a lot of heat. It was inconsistent. It seemed like every other month, Treyarch was patching it to either make it way better or make it way worse. That could get frustrating if you were someone who put a lot of time into getting good with sniping, but one thing that stayed consistent from day one all the way to right now was the Pellington 703 and that awesome inspect animation. This bolt-action sniper had an animation where your character would hold on to its side, pop out one of the bullets before slapping it back into the gun and getting ready to fire it at an enemy player. There's just something cool about getting to see your sniper rounds before they're fired in a Call of Duty game. Since we're talking about inspect animations where you see the rounds, at number 8. The Car98k and Modern Warfare 3 2023. Basically the Pellington animation, but more refined, more dignified, a little bit more at least, made it cooler. It was another bolt-action sniper animation where you popped out one of the rounds before putting it back in the gun and getting ready to fire, but your soldier gives you a little more time to appreciate the round before putting it back. There's also something a little extra cool about an animation like this being an old-school gun like the Car as opposed to something more modern like the Pellington. The Car, just an awesome weapon on its own. And seeing this flashy animation go alongside it amps up the coolness factor to me. It's always a neat little bonus when new COD games bring back older World War II era weapons, and it's even cooler when they get sweet animations and effects. At number 7, the Moors in Modern Warfare 3 2023. Now, Sledgehammer took me by surprise when they started adding old Advanced Warfare guns to the game. I mean, I guess it makes sense because Modern Warfare 3 doesn't actually take place that many years before Advanced Warfare, but then again, not actually sure if AW is canon to the current Call of Duty timeline. I'm pretty sure it's not, but they brought back both the BAL and the Moor sniper rifle, and the Moors had a pretty sweet inspect animation. Single-shot sniper rifle made a name for itself back in the AW days for being an insta-kill regardless of enemy health or hit location, but at the cost of extremely limited ammo capacity. The Modern Warfare 3's version of it, with the inspect animation, really lets you see how massive this rifle was and how much it would freaking hurt to get hit by something this big. Your character pulls the round out of the gun, holds it up to the camera so you can see just how huge it is. Yeah, this thing makes total sense to be a one-hit kill in both Advanced Warfare and Modern Warfare 3. And the rumors are, if the rumors are true, that Sledgehammer is working on a new Advanced Warfare game, you know it's coming back. At number 6, the Mozu in Black Ops 4. I really feel like I've talked about the Mozu pistol quite a bit lately, and it's an awesome revolver. I know, may not have been that great on its own, but the Skull Splitter Operator mod turned it into one of the cheesiest things in COD history. It allowed you to instantly delete anybody from any distance as long as you hit them once in the head. Now, the inspect animations in Black Ops 4, they were pretty lame compared to others on this list, but the Mozu's animation was awesome. Perfectly fit the vibe of a one-shot kill revolver. Your character would flip it around like a cowboy, and it kind of reminded me of the Annihilator animation from Black Ops 3, which is one of my favorite specialist weapons, by the way. And it was an awesome handgun from an underappreciated Call of Duty game with a sweet inspect animation. Now we arrive at the top 5. The 50GS Magna in Modern Warfare 2, or the GS Magna in Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, both of them. Now, this gun had a couple different names in the rebooted trilogy, but you and I know it as the Desert Eagle. Modern Warfare 2019 reworked this iconic handgun into a much heavier and much more rewarding weapon that could kill with a single shot to the head, which made it one of the most powerful guns in the game, even if it was pretty difficult to use. So then Modern Warfare 2 and 3 brought it back under a couple different titles. It wasn't quite as satisfying as the reboot, but it did have a much better inspect animation than the 2019 version. This animation was recycled from Modern Warfare 2 to Modern Warfare 3, but it was awesome in both games, so I put them here as kind of a joint entry. Your character flicks the mag up in the air off the right side of the screen, then catches it before slapping it back in and checking the slide to make sure it's ready to fire. Awesome animation for an awesome gun that I'm hoping continues to make appearances in COD games. Having a high skill one-shot kill pistol makes things interesting. It's kind of like if the Mozu Skull Splitter actually took skill to use. At number 4, the Type 38 Hydra in Call of Duty World War II. Now, the Type 38, also known as the Arasaka, was a bolt-action sniper rifle added to COD World War II as DLC pretty quickly after launch. If I remember correctly, this was one of the first DLC snipers to be added to the game, and there was a lot. The handling was smooth, damage was good. I mean, it was a popular sniper in COD World War II, and if you were using the Hydra variant, you got a ton of additional bonuses. The Hydra variant looked awesome, featured a solid white paint job with some blue highlights and painting of this mythical creature on the side of it, but when you hit the inspect animation button, your character would turn the rifle to its side so you could get a good look at the Hydra, but then they would use their other hand to make a Hydra finger puppet do a big roar towards the middle of the screen. It's pretty impressive. I mean, it was an impressive showing by your soldier. Add a little bit of humor to the game without being too forced or on the nose, I guess, which I can appreciate. I feel like a lot of COD's attempts to be funny nowadays come off as too heavy-handed, but I felt like this one fit right into the vibe of the game. At number 3, the 1911, the American in Call of Duty World War II. Now, the M1911 pistol is by far the most reoccurring secondary weapon in COD history, which makes total sense given the fact the real-world version is so old. I mean, this gun is well over 100 years old, still in wide use to this day. Many see it as one of the most important firearms in history, as well as one of the most famous American guns ever made. Now, in COD World War II, it was a bit awkward to use due to the low fire rate cap and the pretty chunky recoil, but you could get a lot of damage in return for dealing with it, and the American variant really leaned into the gun's roots. Not only did this variant feature an all-over paint job inspired by the American flag, but it also had an inspect animation where your character would spin it around like a cowboy flipping around a revolver. The real-world M1911 was the handgun that widely replaced old-school revolvers back in the early 1900s. So to me, it's an awesome little tribute to have such a flashy animation like this in COD World War II, especially with that red, white, and blue paint job. At number 9, the 9mm SAP, the Duelist, I think is what it's called, in Call of Duty World War II. What's better than one pistol getting flipped around? 2. The 9mm SAP was one of the first DLC pistols to be added to the game. A lot of people thought it was the overall best secondary weapon because of the handling, the fire rate cap, the ammo capacity, reliable damage output. I could go on and on. But if you whipped out this variant and threw on the Duelist perk, the Duelist was the perk. I don't remember what the variant was called, or basic training, whatever. You would get this pretty awesome animation that really made you feel like a gunslinger. This animation was basically the 1911 American animation, but with 2 guns at the same time. So your character would flip them around, spin them on their fingers before getting them back into the action and blasting an enemy in the face with them, which felt pretty good. Wasn't easy to do this animation and then actually kill somebody right afterwards, but when it did happen, you felt like the coolest Call of Duty player of all time. At number 1 today, the 9mm Damon in Modern Warfare 2 and 3 respectively. I've never seen such an elaborate animation for such a simple gun, but I'm glad the animators over at IW decided to go this hard with this one. This thing looks and sounds like a simple handgun, but when you hit the inspect animation button, you're treated to this massive display of gun flipping and bullet balance. Your character slides out the magazine, pulls back the slide, flips out one of the rounds that was in the chamber, catches it on the side of the gun, then balances it there for a few seconds before flipping the round back up in the air, catching it back in the slide, and then throwing the magazine back in the gun so they could get back in action. I have no idea why Infinity Ward decided to give such an acrobatic animation to such a simple handgun, but I'm glad they did. And I'm extra glad that Sledgehammer decided to keep the animation in Modern Warfare 3 when they carried the gun over to multiplayer. If you ask me, this is one of the coolest weapon inspect animations in COD history, and I didn't even like Modern Warfare 2 or 3. I may not have liked the games, but I can admit when the animators actually cook, and they did. And there you have it, my friends. If you want a part 3 in the future, you let me know.